Everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, Adiba.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. I, Adiba Mevish, welcome everyone back to Raleigh Literary Festival's concluding session. This event has been a celebration of words, ideas, and the power of narratives, and it would not have been possible without each and every one of you who graced us with your presence. First and foremost, I'd like to express my deepest appreciation to all the attendees of this festival. Your unwavering enthusiasm, curiosity, and love for literature have breathed life into the fest and transformed it into a vibrant virtual hub of intellectual exchange. Your presence here today reaffirms the enduring relevance and profound impact of literature in our lives. May the written word forever inspire us. Thank you so much again for making Raleigh Literary Festival what we had imagined it to be. Thank you for making Raleigh Literary Festival the Raleigh Literary Festival. I also extend my special thanks to Baran Farooqi ma'am. She is the picture of acclaimed luminary professor. Her intellectual aura glistens with enduring brilliance. She has been a magnificent presence in the halls of Jamia for a majestic quarter century now. Her wisdom and erudition waving a tapestry of illumination in the hallowed realm where intellectual flames burn internally. With that note, I'd like to start with the valedictory ceremony, and to begin with, I would like to call Mr. Utkarsh Saini, who is a hidden treasure trove of wordsmith wonders, and the introduction doesn't end here. He's also the joint secretary of a Raleigh Literary Society and the one who keeps things going. With that, I request Mr. Utkarsh Saini to unmute himself and address the audience.
Thank you so much, Adiba, for this wonderful, yet again, introduction. Esteemed guests, Honorable Chairman, respected faculty members, professors, my dear juniors and batchmates, an amazing evening to you all, and I welcome you all in the last day of Raleigh Literary Festival. It is an amazing evening since our efforts and hard work has already come to the stage of fruition as we have successfully completed the last two major days of the Raleigh Literary Festival, which got enormous participation and it was unbelievable. Today, as I speak before you all, it gives me immense privilege and honor to deliver these opening remarks as the Joint Secretary of our esteemed Raleigh Literary Society. This moment marks the culmination of a year of hard work, dedication, and personal growth for all of us. It is a time to reflect on our journey, celebrate our achievements, and envision the promising future that awaits each and every one of us. So yesterday, I came across a quotation that I found was very relatable. It goes like, how often is he tormented on the way by the desolate feeling that he is attempting the impossible? And yet, this impossible will one day have become possible and even self-evident. I think this is the appropriate quotation that explains our entire journey. Since the day we had started planning for the Raleigh Literary Festival, everything looked near to impossible. And there was a desolate feeling inside us that whether we'll be able to do it or not. What will be the contingencies if nothing goes right? But we remained inclined towards performing our actions by taking small steps. One of the major setbacks that we faced was the notice from the administration that shook us for a few days, yet our hard work and dedication made this impossible become possible and self-evident because our intentions were pure and honest. I think my journey as the Joint Secretary didn't start from the day when I became the Joint Secretary, rather since the day when I first came here. So if I look at the things in retrospect, I still remember the day in 2018 I came to this wonderful university. I had no friends, no relatives, no acquaintances, nothing at all. It was on me to create and establish everything for myself on my own. The beginning phase of survival after the first time leaving home was a little bit difficult, but I had a lot of aspirations and wishes that couldn't have come true had I yielded to the difficult circumstances. The journey in the Raleigh Literary Society was quite similar. We tried to establish and build everything from the scratch. The beginning phase was difficult when there was a lot of ruckus. The events were not going right. Yet we continued our work with our honest ideas. So for me, it has been now 5 years in this wonderful department, a very long time in this university. The more difficult it was me to survive in the beginning, the more I fell in love with the university. And in fact, I say this to everyone that if you haven't fallen in love with this university, then perhaps by the time you leave, you will. Nonetheless, with every passing day, I made new bonds, new friends, and I met wonderful people around me, friends, teachers, and professors. I think with their constant support and guidance, having them on my side helped me to make my journey pleasant and memorable. In the course of these 5 years, I am thankful for all the opportunities that were given to me. I am also grateful to Akbar sir for always pushing me and recognizing some merit in me. I was given the responsibility of being the class representative for my class by our Honorable Chairperson, Professor Muhammad Asim Siddiqui sir, who also later considered me as a suitable candidate for the post of Joint Secretary of the Royal Literary Society. I don't know whether I was the right person for this job or not, but I have been given more than what I ever wanted and deserved. And I have confidence that I performed my duties with right intentions. In the words of Aldous Huxley, the most valuable of all education is the ability to make yourself do the things you have to do when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. Therefore, I think after getting ourselves educated, it was incumbent on us to give something back to our juniors and in general to the students who will come after us. And in that process, I think it took the shape of a website and a YouTube channel that we have created. However, it was not the final result of what we thought. Rather, the final result was the Raleigh Literary Festival, the idea which germinated in the head of people who resonated with us that we should do something for the department and other students who are yet to come. Many people liked it and many disliked it. A lot of people like Asim sir became the constant support while some became the impediments, but I think we did it because it needed to be done. As we all can observe that in the age of scientific advancements, where technologies like artificial intelligence are taking over the human intelligence, intellect, and the creativity, it has become very much necessary to provide spaces for young minds so that they can polish their intellectual capacities and creativity. Since the time I became the joint secretary, it was my constant effort to break the hesitation and shyness of students when it comes to speaking. We have seen that happening in classes, in public spheres, in professional spaces, in families, how the inability to speak properly causes a lot of frustration. I can relate to this because I am speaking on the basis of personal experiences. I was also a sort of a person who didn't like speaking much. However, that habit needed to be changed. I always evaded when it came to public speaking, but later I realized that it was so important to know how to speak properly, and especially when you are a student of literature. In addition, now I'd like to take a moment and would like to congratulate the Secretary, Abdullah Parvez, who is my first and oldest friend that I made at this university. I never thought that this friendship would come this far since he was a total extrovert and I was very selective. He always had this complaint or a wish that nobody was there to tell him, guide him, or maybe scold him whether he was doing the right thing or not. But I think, Abdullah, you have done an amazing job. You were honest. You remained stuck to your core ideas and values, and you went above and beyond to give back to our coming juniors, to give back to the department. In fact, you put a lot of things at stake, whether wherever it was needed. However, considering the fact that you had responsibility, you may have hurt some people in the process, but I think that's all a part of creating something good. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the faculty members and especially the president of the Royal Literary Society, Professor Muhammad Asim Siddiqui sir, for believing in us and standing firm on our sides when it was needed the most. Sir has tirelessly nurtured our minds, challenged our intellects, and guided us along this educational expedition. Now, coming to the fellow students and juniors, today, we bid farewell to the place that has been our second home, a sanctuary of growth, friendship, and countless memories. Together, we have weathered the storms of examination, scolding from our teachers, a lot of rejections, challenges, and the occasional bouts of self-doubt. But we have also experienced the joys of camaraderie, intellectual discovery, and personal transformation. Our journey here has not only shaped our minds, but also shaped our character, teaching us the values of perseverance, teamwork, and resilience. I am grateful and thankful to all my juniors and members of this society for giving their unparalleled support and love. In the beginning, I didn't think that we would be able to create such an amazing team, but all of you proved your worth more than what I ever imagined. When it comes to the capabilities that you all have, I couldn't praise you enough. Now, as I complete my tenure and leave my position, I'd like to transfer my responsibilities to our juniors to take the Department of English to the new heights as long as you can and serve the society with honesty. Remember, success is not measured solely by the material achievements or societal acclaim. It is the impact we have on the lives of others, the contributions we make to our communities, and the integrity with which we navigate the complex world around us. Each one of us possesses unique talents and abilities. It is our duty to harness those gifts for the greater good, to lead with compassion, and to create a positive difference wherever we go. I urge you all to continue seeking knowledge, to remain curious, and to pursue lifelong learning. Embrace diversity and cherish the richness of different perspectives. Be courageous in the face of adversity, and remember that failure is not a defeat, but a stepping stone towards growth. Most importantly, never underestimate the power of kindness. In a world that can often seem divided and uncertain, the simple act of extending a helping hand can have an immeasurable impact. As we bid farewell to this chapter of our lives, let us carry with us the invaluable experiences, friendships, and lessons we have gained. Let us be the architects of our own destinies, armed with knowledge, wisdom, and a burning desire to make a positive remark on the world. I have faith in each and every one of you, and I'm confident that we will achieve greatness in our chosen paths. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey, and thank you for the memories that will forever be engraved in our hearts. And as we venture forth into the great unknown, let us do so with hope, determination, and unwavering belief in ourselves. Last but not least, I would like to thank my parents. I don't think that words can justify whatever they have done for me. I would only say that what you have done for me and what I am and what I shall be, all of this would not have been possible without their love and sacrifices. Thank you for listening to me, and I wish you all a lot of success and happiness for your future journeys. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Joint Secretary Sir. Thank you for your dedication and the creative flair in making this gathering an unforgettable experience. With that, moving ahead, I now request Mr. Mohammed Danish Iqbal Sir, who is an assistant professor in the Department of English, as well as the coordinator of Raleigh Literary Society, who helped us traverse the vast landscape of literature, exploring the myriad genres, themes, and forms. I request Sir to please add a few words for the audience.
You asked me?
Yes, sir.
No, actually, there was a phone call from a newspaper. I was just attending. Anyway.
Oh, no, I actually asked Danish Sir to
yes.
address the audience.
I'm relieved.
Very warm good evening to everyone here, and I welcome the guest speaker of the day, Professor Baran. I think what we have just heard from Utkarsh, where he took us through, a snapshot of his journey from the kind of reticence to the thoughtful eloquence. Was very heartening, and my tryst with the Literary Society, Raleigh Literary Society, has just about begun. So I'm possibly speaking from the other end of the spectrum. I must put on record the immense hard work, the immense determination with which the entire team has worked towards making this event possible. I bear witness to some of the ordeals that the organization had to face towards the end of the preparations. And I must say that they very carefully and I would say successfully negotiated their way ahead. So all of them, the secretary, the joint secretary, and the members of the society at large, they deserve a round of applause for having stood their ground and making this event possible. I'd also like to extend my thanks to charge, and the result is here for all of us to see. From what I have witnessed over the past 3 days, I can very confidently say that this is probably one of the most wonderfully put together student-led academic conference come workshops that I have seen. And the choice of the topic, the papers that were shortlisted, the speakers who were selected, all of them speak of the kind of discerning ability that I could spot in all of you, that you went for the right people, the best of them. And today's speaker is, of course, the highlight of the day. So I'll keep my, my interaction with you very brief, because what is to follow is what is much anticipated and exciting to all of us. Although before I pass on the mic to the speaker of the day, uh,
So I guess there's some
also
issue with your network
participated in
because
the
we're not able to hear you
preceding
clearly.
conference. We have met the author, we have heard the author in person, and today we have the good fortune of listening in to the translator as well. So you put together two events, they really kind of complement it very well. I'd also like to inform the his song. Uh, uh, I promise all of you that
Danish sir, there is a lot of network issue happening from your end and a lot of heavy audio delay as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there is an audio delay, sir. For some reason. Maybe rejoining the meet would fix the issue, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Again, I think it's the same issue, sir. The audio, as you're speaking, your audio comes later on.
Abdullah Danish has just called me. So now you can invite the speaker. Danish has concluded because there is some problem at his end.
Okay. Okay. Adiba, please continue.
Carry on.
Thank you for letting us know, sir.
Yeah. So we completely understand what you're trying to convey, and thank you for being so supportive of us. Moving ahead, I would like to give a brief introduction, and even brief or elaborate is not enough for the person who's here with us today. Her trip began in the historic city of Allahabad, where knowledge was first planted. From where she did her master's, but destiny called her to the revered walls of Jamia Millia Islamia, where she set out on a journey of enlightenment. Her alma mater was in awe of her academic powers as she submerged herself in sacred pursuit of wisdom within its hallowed halls, emerging victorious with the crown of a PhD. Her unwavering spirit and visionary insight have permanently etched in the imprint of Jamia's curriculum tapestry. She has expertly constructed and sculpted the MPhil and MA courses, giving them intellectual energy and pedagogical brilliance, and elevating the simple act of knowledge transmission to the level of an art form with her deft touch and perspective vision. She has chauffeured a multitude of aspiring brains, providing them with kindness and knowledge as they travel the difficult route to intellectual excellence. She is a beacon of guidance. She has been a loving mentor to more than 10 PhD and MPhil scholars, illuminating their path with the light she so effortlessly bears. Outside the academic world, Professor Farooqi's quill dances with unmatched grace, creating literary tapestries that makes readers go in awe. She provides her editorial expertise to the joy of reading a treasured book published in the prestigious Orient Logman, a monument to her collaborative talent. Her skillful translation of Sayyid Muhammad Ashraf's moving short stories, which are tenderly condensed in the ethereal work titled Waiting for the Morning Breeze, bring comfort to the Sahitya Academy, the revered bastion of literary quality. With the colors of my heart, an enchanting translation that reveals the soul-stirring poetry of acclaimed Faiz Ahmed Faiz, published by Penguin, a publisher renowned for its states, embraces her literary magic. One can take a voyage through the book's pages, emotional tapestry weaving with the poems that emerge from the poet's creative sensibility. The translation of Khalid Jawaid's celebrated novel Nemat Khana into English, titled The Paradise of Food, is published by Juggernaut. Professor Farooqi's deft pen gives the book life, transforming it into a sensory-stimulating gastronomic symphony in the field of poetry. Her collaboration with Kusha Tiwari reveals the ethereal beauty of beautiful women in a walled courtyard, rubais written by Farag Gorakhpuri and Janisar Akhtar, published under the banner of Women Unlimited. Professor Farooqi's scholarly powers have been published in prestigious journals including HarperCollins, Oxford University Press, and Routledge. In addition to her literary achievements, she writes elegant essays that appears in book reviews and news stories, enthralling readers with sharp observations. She's a legend in her own right and has presided over numerous conferences and panels as the prestigious chair. Guardian of the scholarly dialogue, her presence improves these events, lending them an air of expertise and thoughtful discussion as a monument to her intellectual satire. Professor Farooqi's influence goes beyond the walls of academia as the sun sheds its golden rays upon the horizon of a brilliant career. With the great distinction of being a member of the Shakespearean Society of India, she has embraced a valued position inside the professional groups as well. She's a member of the Abdul Qadir Memorial Educational Welfare Trust, an organizational committed to fostering the minds of future. And she serves as an inspiration for her unwavering dedication to education and upliftment. With that, I request ma'am to bless us with her words. Ma'am, it's a privilege to have you here, and I request you to kindly unmute yourself and address the audience.
That was such a, I don't know, I mean, I wish the experts out there think the way you do about me. That's all I can say, you know, so that I'll very much be in line for the next award, maybe. Thank you so much, Adiba, for your loving words. And like a student of Aligarh Muslim University is as dear to me as maybe my own student at Jamia. And I have a feeling that some of the students who are present here for this valedictory today might have been taught by me when they were at Jamia. I think a couple of them must surely be, because they do tend to move between Jamia and Aligarh a lot. So this is delightful. I'm really glad to have been given this opportunity by my friend Professor Asim Siddiqui, currently the HOD of the in Aligarh Muslim University, head of Department of English, and Dr. Danish Iqbal. I loved listening to you. I wish your audio had been a little fast, more fast or faster. But anyway, it was nice to listen to a young voice who is, because I have also been the advisor of my own department's literary, it's known as the English Literary Association. So I have been the advisor for quite a few years, and I imagine that it's, you know, and during my time, which is like at least 20 years ago or more, students somehow were not so, because the internet had not yet arrived so well on the scene. And we just had pages, I believe, in which one could page each other, and there was a little bit of activity of emailing beginning at that time. But anyway, the students were not so active, and the teachers in charge had to really exhort them all the time and do things and give examples. But I loved doing it, and those days in Jamia that I spent as teacher in charge of the Literary Association are one of the most memorable days that I've had in my career. So excuse me for messaging for just half a minute, because I just thought of Khalid Jawaid Saab, you know, when you were talking about his celebrated novel, and I thought, let me send the link to him in case he can join. So he just responded saying that he's in another literary meet probably. So anyway, he likes to encourage me a lot, and he's always around for any support that I need. So I'm lucky to have a living author right there, and somebody who's keen to you know, to see his work reaching international levels through English. So it has been very encouraging, a big shot in the arm for me, especially since I lost my beloved father a couple of years ago, Shamsur Rahman Farooqi, who was, I mean, he has been my mentor, my teacher, my everything, and he's like all rolled into one. So when you said that my education started in Allahabad, I thought you were going to say that in the lap of my father, but it's the same thing. My father is one of the distinguished alumnus of Allahabad University. And so going on to thank Abdullah Parvez and Utkarsh and Adiba for their kind words, for their loving attention, for providing everything to me, you know, whatever I asked for in the wink of an eye, you know, like Abdullah was really, it seemed that he didn't sleep all night or all day or whatever, because I'm in the morning, or I'm in the USA visiting my dear sister, who's also a professor in the Department of Southeast Asian Studies and Literature at UBA. And so I'm using my brother-in-law's laptop, because I'm not such a great scholar. I didn't carry my laptop to the US thinking that there are so many laptops here. So Professor Richko and my brother-in-law's connection I'm using for this. So I wish to thank each one of you for having thought of me. Now, having said that, I'd just like to, when I went over the theme of the 2 days of the paper reading, I realized that Asim Saab and the rest had been so kind to me to ask me to speak on translating from the Urdu, because the theme was nowhere close to translation. I mean, well, everything, translation prevails everywhere, but the themes were trauma and memory, and the second day was about, I think, science fiction. So, but I was able to, I immediately could connect my two more talked about translated works from the Urdu. One is The Colors of My Heart, selected poems by Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and the other is The Paradise of Food, which the original name is Nemat Khana by Khalid Jawaid Saab, the novel. To both these themes, and I realized, how nice it. I'm sure the students also understand, and Asim Saab had the confidence to float this topic to me, because he knew that the students will understand how everything is so interconnected. So when you talk about trauma, you talk about. Immediately the thought that came to me was Khalid Jawaid Saab, again science fiction, Khalid Jawaid Saab. And again, digital humanities, Khalid Jawaid Saab. But also, when you talk about memory and trauma, Faiz is also a very important figure who just cropped up in my mind as to how could I relate my work of translation with memory and trauma and going back and forth between literary traditions and conventions. So anyway, I'm sure this is not the platform where I can give you a very academic kind of a, deep structured lecture, but I'll try and talk about a few things in the next 10 minutes or so. Let me look at the time.
Excuse me, I'm just interrupting you. I'm leaving you with your students. So with your
Okay,
permission.
no issues.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Asim Saab. Thank you. So I would like to say something like, when you look at translating from the Urdu into English, obviously you realize that both the languages are not so well related to each other. They come from different parts of the globe. At the same time, we know that English has had a very close influence, and it's had a very, we can say, deep impact on us, because we were their gulams for a couple of centuries, one can say easily. And the English have been clever enough to allow their language to seep into our imagination and to take in words from our culture into their own dictionary. As you know, that every year the Oxford English Dictionary comes up with a list of new words that the Oxford English Dictionary allows to be officially called English. And they're very proud of it. And when they announce them, and many times the words are from the Urdu or the Hindi, whatever you call it, the Hindustani, and just with maybe just a slight change of spelling, sometimes without even that. So we can't deny that the process of interchange is mutual. They accept the new words after some kind of, I feel, the words or the phrases have been treated for quite some time by the speakers and by writers. So they make us do the homework, they make us do the hard work, but they do, they do acknowledge that they want to keep moving with the times. They want to project English as a very inclusive language, as a language which is available and amenable to all cultures. And so that would, that leads to I wanted to begin with a quote which says, that old words can be re-narrated into new words. Old words can be re-narrated in new words. All that was needed is empathy, the power and the ability to embrace and feel the warmth of the embrace. So now, what am I saying here by quoting from here? That when we try to translate an author, say, who's 50 years or 100 years or even more removed from us in time, we get caught in a fix as to how can we possibly go there, because the past, as you say that it has been said by a major translation theorist that the past is not a foreign country. The past is not a foreign country. We live in the past as much as we live in the present and in the future. So the three of them are simultaneously, they are in a state of flux. They keep mingling and separating. And so we should not treat the past as something which is difficult to go into, or something like a tunnel where if we go in, we'll be covered by cobwebs or something. But it should just be an acknowledgement that yes, in the past, maybe people had a slightly different idiom of speaking the same things. And now we use a slightly different idiom. So the question is, if we were to kind of just erase the past and bring it into the modern lingo, are we doing a disservice to the practice of translation? Because are we like, are we trying to erase memory? Are we trying to deny the trauma that is underlying the poetic utterance or the prose utterance? Or are we just trying to embrace the past idiom with such warmth that the past idiom assimilates itself, not assimilates, I would say it is able to enter our sensibility, and our sensibility is able to impact the past idioms, and therefore we come up with newer expressions. You see, I'm referring to things like, using of thee and thou and other such archaisms as are present in, say, Shakespeare, or for instance, archaic forms of address in Urdu poetry. So whenever we look at Urdu poetry, which is like more than a century old or so, we think, इसमें तो भाई आप जनाब होगा, इसमें तो कहाँ से हम कैसे ये करेंगे, और कुछ लोग उसको ले आते हैं डायरेक्टली, और वो क्या करते हैं कि वो कोई सर्विस नहीं कर रहे होते हैं उस चीज को, बल्कि वो ये कर रहे होते हैं कि आपको एक एहसास दिलाते हैं कि एक पुरानी सी जैसे महक सी नहीं आती जब आप पुराना कोई बक्सा खोलो, एक मस्ती सी महक, तो वो आपको ये इम्प्रेशन दे देते हैं कि पास्ट जो है वो एक तरह का जैसे उसको हवा देने की जरूरत है, उसमें कोई महक सी आ रही है, बासी है, तो वो भी हमें नहीं करना है, और ना ही हमको टोटली उनको भुला देना है, या उनके लिए जो चीज इम्पोर्टेंट थी उस चीज की इम्पोर्टेंस को हमें आज की जबान में समझना है। ठीक है, मिसाल के तौर पे जंग आज़ादी को ले लीजिए, तो उसके बारे में जैसे फैज ने लिखा, या जो उनकी रेवोल्यूशनरी पोएट्री है, तो उसमें उन्होंने जो ट्रॉमा को डिस्क्राइब किया है, जो ट्रॉमा उनको लगता है कि ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द पुअर, ऑफ द डिप्राइव्ड, ऑफ द अंडरप्रिविलेज्ड, when he writes, he doesn't want you to just dismiss that trauma and say, oh, aajkal to we have now reached a point where we know that communism has also had its failures. We know that socialism doesn't work, say in a place like USA, and things like that. So we need to respect that. We need to respect that moment in history. So when we want to respect that moment in history, we need to try and look at it from our own, not just from our own perspective, but also in the perspective has to be ready with language which is ready to receive that trauma. You see, so the language translation, what happens is that we have to try and understand something like Terry Eagleton has also said, that if different translations are available of the same text, then each translation is relevant because the words are in a process of transition. And even as something receives translations by different translators at different points of time, the meaning is hiding somewhere between all those translations. Okay, so like Faiz, every 10-15 years or so, there comes a translation which becomes the most celebrated one. कि Faiz का तर्जुमा तो वो फला साहब का बहुत अच्छा है, या फला साहिबा का अच्छा है, या फिर इसी तरह से आप किसी को भी ले लीजिए, इवन कुरान का तर्जुमा जो है नए लोग जो हैं अटेम्प्ट करते हैं, ऐसा तो है नहीं कि अब कभी तर्जुमा नहीं होगा कलाम पाक का, तो वो जरूरी भी है, क्योंकि उसमें जैसे हमने आपसे कहा कि जब हम एम्ब्रेस करते हैं पास्ट को, तो एम्पैथी के साथ करें, और एम्पैथी के साथ करें और तो हमारी एम्ब्रेस में एक वार्मथ आएगी। तो जो पास्ट जो है वो हमें कुछ देगा और हम पास्ट को कुछ देंगे। जैसे कि टी.एस. एलियट ने ट्रेडिशन एंड द इंडिविजुअल टैलेंट में कहा है कि जब एक किताब लाइब्रेरी में ऐड होती है तो सारी किताबों की जगह पोजीशन चेंज होती है। That's what he has said, that he talks about the sense of history rather than history. So so what is the meaning of sense of history? So that's very important for the translator as well. So when you talk about trauma and you talk about memory, you also understand how memories are translated. They are translated into the minds of the future generations. Similarly, when you talk about say science fiction, you also try and understand how science fiction, if it were to be written in a language which is not so currently in use when it comes to textbooks of say physics or particle physics or theoretical physics, then how do you write about those things? So when you're writing about them, they are there in your mind. You're not translating them like when a creative writer. So I'm talking about the next novel that Khalid Jawaid Saab has written and is due to get published any moment because the first copies have already come. And I might be translating that as well. So in that, what happens is that there is a lot of science fiction going on. Not exactly science fiction. It has truth. The basis of truth is there. But what is happening is that, there is the extraction of a sperm from a dead man's body, and which is used to fertilize an ovum in a living woman's body, and a baby is born. So that itself is a slightly bizarre idea. I mean, it doesn't go down very well with somebody like me, but maybe for people like you who are much younger and who are into, freezing your eggs and blah, blah, I'm sure you don't find it as bizarre or weird as I do. But then there is a description of, the possibilities of what the progress in science and technology is doing for us, and how it's like, there is a constant, again, a revenge that nature is taking on us, and all the delightful experiences, the potential that nature has, which we are discovering as we become more and more technologically advanced. So now this is something that a writer is writing in Urdu. So you can imagine what the writer might be, how the writer is going to try and place it in a culture where maybe this is not so easily accessible. ठीक है, जो बहुत top of the economic वो हैं, उन लोग को accessible है ये चीज़ कि वो freeze करा दें वो अपना या egg को या test tube babies या फिर ये जो in vitro fertilization, ठीक है, but it's only a small section ना. But फिर भी जब novelist लिख रहा है तो novelist को उसको possible करने के लिए एक poetic truth establish करना होता है. फिर जब ट्रांसलेटर आता है सामने तो ट्रांसलेटर के लिए तो और मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि ट्रांसलेटर को उसको जो चीज थोड़ा सा मतलब जब हमसे करीब है वो टाइम में, नाउ आई एम ट्रांसलेटिंग समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट जस्ट अ मेमोरी, रादर इट्स अ प्रोजेक्शन इनटू द फ्यूचर, है ना. बट आई हैव टू डू इट बिकॉज आई हैव टू टेल द वर्ल्ड कि उर्दू फिक्शन में भी ये चीजें लिखी जा रही हैं, उर्दू में भी ये हो रहा है, उर्दू के वर्ल्ड में इस तरह की राइटिंग मौजूद है जहाँ पे कूड़े का पहाड़ है और कूड़े के पहाड़ में कोई दब जाता है और वो मर जाता है उस दलदल में. तो ये भी एक तरह का एक साइंस, मतलब एक हम कह सकते हैं कि एक डिजिटल टाइप का एक एनविजनिंग ऑफ द फ्यूचर है. और एक वो भी हो सकता था कि आप टाइटैनिक के ऊपर एक कहानी लिखते थे जिसमें कि वो ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, भाई वो डूबी हुई एक शिप है, आपको मालूम ही है. तो सवाल उठता है कि ट्रांसलेटर को कहाँ पे खड़े रहना है. और इसी सेंस में हम कहते हैं कि ट्रांसलेटर जो है वो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट पर्सन है आज की डेट में, क्योंकि वो चीज़ों को मतलब ट्रांसलेशन एंजॉयबल भी होना चाहिए, है ना. जैसा कि आपने सुना है कि पैराडाइज ऑफ फूड को मैंने नेमत खाने को ट्रांसलेट किया एज द पैराडाइज ऑफ फूड. अब नेमत खाना वर्ड जो है उसको कैसे ट्रांसलेट करते हैं, बट नेमत खाने में जो नेमत वर्ड है ना, वो एक तरह का आपको मतलब दिखाता, अच्छा एक इमेज देता है ना कि नेम अल्लाह की नेमतें हैं ये, अंडे और दही और दूध और मे बी शाही टुकड़ा या जो भी। तो अब उसको एक नेमत खाने में रखते थे, जब फ्रिज तो सबके यहाँ नहीं होता था, बहुत ही रेयर होता था। तो जैसे मेरे केस में मेरे पेरेंट्स की मेरी आंख खुली, तो मेरे पेरेंट्स दोनों क्योंकि अल्लाह का शुक्र है बहुत सक्सेसफुल थे उस जमाने के मुस्लिम्स में, एक एलीट फैमिली मैं समझती हूँ आई कम फ्रॉम, तो हमारे घर में फ्रिज वगैरह सब था, लेकिन मेरी नानी के यहाँ नेमत खाना था, वहाँ फ्रिज नहीं था। तो मैंने नेमत खाना देखा है, छींका भी होता था एक, वो लटका देते थे दरवाजे में, हवा आती थी उसमें अंडे वगैरह रख देते थे, तो छींके पे अक्सर बिल्ली हाथ वाथ मार देती थी उछल के, इस तरह के आपने सुने हो शायद मुहावरे। तो हमने मतलब हमारे लिए इट वाज आइडियल बिकॉज आई वाज I knew the culture, I knew the background, and yet I was like, I was educated in English. While of course the Urdu education was very thorough, let me tell you, बहुत सख्ती से पढ़ाई गई घर में, but तो मैंने उसको जब ट्रांसलेट, so I was suggested कि the paradise of food में कि नेमत खाना भी एक तरह का जैसे जन्नत की तरह का एक कॉन्सेप्ट है, और लेकिन उसमें आयरॉनिक भी है क्योंकि वो नॉवेल जो है वो ऐसी है कि वो खाना खाने के बाद की जो प्रोसेस है ना, उसको भी कई बार बड़े ग्राफिक वे में दिखा देती है कि कैसे आपका खाना पचता है और कौन कौन सी गैसें पैदा होती हैं और बदहजमी क्या चीज होती है, डिकार कैसे आती है वगैरह वगैरह। जैसे कि शेक्सपियर ने एज यू लाइक इट में कहा है ना कि लव के बारे में कि भाई लव रियल होता है कि नहीं, बट वो ये कहता है कि men have died from time to time but not for love and worms have eaten them। तो वो लव की बात भी करता है लेकिन फौरन ये बात घुसा देता है कि वो आपको मतलब कब्र में तो आपके कीड़े वड़े खाते हैं आपको। तो ये चीजें जो हैं खालिद जावेद साहब ने भी बख्शा नहीं है रीडर को, लेकिन उन्होंने इस तरह से उसको बयान किया है कि मैं समझती हूँ कि ट्रॉमा का परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल है वो। क्या वो कंसंट्रेशन कैंप्स होंगे नाज़ी जमाने के, जो इसमें ट्रॉमा है कि खाने की महक, कैसे किसी को उल्टी आती है किसी खास खुशबू से, नहीं पसंद है कि घर में पके मूली का अचार वगैरह, या खाने के साथ कुछ एक कनेक्शन भी दिखाया, थोड़ा मैजिक रियलिज्म है दिखाया कि when he eats something or when he sees something being cooked in the kitchen, then this thought occurs to him, आज ये नहीं पकना चाहिए था, something evil is going to happen, and like, oh, why should an evil thing be associated with food being cooked in your kitchen? But you just take it because it becomes very interesting and you're curious to see, oh, क्या होने वाला है, तो किसी दिन तो कोई बहुत पर्सनल चीज हो जाती है, घर में ट्रेजेडी हो जाती है, किसी दिन तो इंदिरा गांधी का असैसिनेशन हो जाता है उस दिन, तो इट्स अ वेरी ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम थिंग। सो द ट्रॉमा इज देयर कि उसको खाना, और खाने को दिखाया है कि कैसे मरने के वक्त भी वो होता है तीजा 40वां, और पैदा होने के वक्त भी सेलिब्रेट होता है। तो वो पैराडाइज तो है, लेकिन अदीबा को बहुत हंसी आती है, हम कैमरा ऑफ कर दीजिए अदीबा, तो क्या नाम है ये हंस रही थी अपने सर पे भी, तो इसीलिए हमने कहा कि डेंजरस टेरिटरी में हो तो मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि उसमें क्या होता है कि मैं आप लोगों को बता रही थी कि क्योंकि आप लोगों ने ट्रॉमा वगैरह पे बात की, तो कंटेम्प्रेरी फिक्शन में भी अपना इंडिविजुअल का ट्रॉमा, वो भी एक ट्रॉमा है, आप लोग इस पे गौर कर सकते हैं। So I'd like to wind up now because I think I've spoken for more than 15 minutes. It's going to be about 20 minutes. What else should I say? So, okay, so going back to translating from the Urdu for the English reader, as I said, that both the languages are no longer so alien to each other. But I think, we as the Urdu speakers or the readers and writers of Urdu, when we're translating into English, we have an upper hand because currently the translation theories are all in favor of the reader taking the pains, not the translator. So they say, they've stopped glossing now. When I began my journey in translation 20 years ago, there was a glossary that was attached to my first book, which was Waiting for the Morning Breeze. I've translated so many other things, but then I'm talking only about the book form. So we had a glossary there where namaz के जो औकात थे या कौन सी दुआ वगैरह उसको हमने ग्लॉस करके बताया था. बट धीरे धीरे करके हमें समझ में आया कि यहाँ पे फैज वाले में हमने देखा 2017 में छपा के ग्लॉस नहीं करना था. ग्लॉस तो नहीं करते थे, लेकिन कहीं पे कुछ स्पेसिफिक चीज अगर हमें एक्सप्लेन करनी है कि ये गालिब का शेर का एक मिसरा है जो फैज ने इसने जोड़ दिया है, या कोई खास इंसिडेंट है हिस्ट्री का, बांग्लादेश वॉर या कुछ, तो उसके बारे में मेंशन किया. और नेमत खाने में तो कुछ भी नहीं है, कुछ भी ग्लॉस नहीं किया है. तो बस देखिए, अभी तो उर्दू से इंग्लिश रीडर के लिए यही है कि भाई आप ठीक है, आप एक तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली दैट पर्सन वुड बी इंटरेस्टेड इन उर्दू, तो उसको वैसे भी थोड़ा बहुत पता कर लेना चाहिए चीजों को. और अगर नहीं पता किया है तो भाई कर लो. हमने भी तो अरुंधति रॉय की किताब को जब पढ़ा था, गॉड ऑफ स्मॉल थिंग्स, तो पता किया था ना बहुत सी चीजों को, क्योंकि उन्होंने भी बहुत रिटेन किया था. शी सेट द ट्रेंड, नो, I think she is a path-breaking writer for us, who did the, I don't like the term, the chutneyfication of English, but that is what is attributed to her. So thank you very much for listening to me so patiently. I think I'll have occasion to speak to you again in future whenever Asim Saab is kind enough to invite me. I'll surely turn up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I pen these words inspired and deeply moved as I reflect upon the mesmerizing speech you bestowed upon us. With each word carefully chosen and cadence of your voice, you wave a tapestry of enchantment, igniting within our souls a fire of profound inspiration and dreaded passion. Thank you so much, ma'am. We feel blessed to have heard from you. And
so Hanzala just wrote something. I missed it. I like Hanzala.
No, ma'am, just a moment. I'll read it out. Scintillating talk, ma'am. The class often remembers our discussions and debate. Good times. He's
Tell
being
him
nostalgic.
to get in touch with me personally. I'd like to know what he's doing. I'm greatly interested in what Hanzala is doing now. So tell him that he can contact me after taking my email ID from Abdullah.
Oh, sure, ma'am. We'll connect Hanzala to Abdullah bhai. And thank you so much, ma'am. We really look forward to have you again, and probably in offline mode really soon, because I was particularly, moved by everything that you have just explained. Thank you so much, ma'am. So moving ahead, it is my distinct pleasure. Okay, I guess Summer is asking something. We'll move ahead. It is my distinct pleasure to invite an individual who has played a pivotal role in the promotion and advancement of the society's work within and beyond the walls of the department. As the secretary of the esteemed Raleigh Literary Society, he has dedicated his time and effort to fostering a love for literature and creating a platform for literary enthusiasts to come together. With a profound understanding of the power of words and their impact on our lives, the Secretary has been an instrumental in organizing this Raleigh Literary Festival, the Firebrace workshop, the competitions that have inspired and nurtured the talent of inspiring writers, poets, graphic designers, and calligraphists. His unwavering commitment to the literary arts had made a significant difference in our community, providing countless individuals with the opportunity to explore their creative potential. With that, I now request our Secretary, Mr. Abdullah Parvez, to share his insights, experiences, and reflections on the transformative power of literature and what all went into creating, building, and executing such a historical event. His words will undoubtedly enlighten us, spark our imagination, and encourage us to delve deeper into the captivating world of literature and pave our way towards the vision he had thought about Raleigh Literary Society. So I request Abdullah bhai to please unmute himself and add a few words.
It is always thank you first of all, Adiba, for that introduction. Every time you've introduced, I start to reflect upon all that I am and do, and I must humble myself every time, because if I am to only stay at all those words, I would be raised too higher in my own eyes, and I But so I take your introductions in a humbling way, rather. So thank you for that. Thank you, ma'am, for agreeing to do this at the last moment, at a very short
Yeah,
notice.
I'm sorry for interrupting. There are some people asking things, so please respond to them that I think this is a valedictory. It can't be a question answer, I guess, but it's up to you. It's your call.
The valedictory section does not have the space for the question answer at the moment, but I am glad to see that there are people who are interested in that. Maybe hopefully we'll have another event where ma'am could be invited on some sort of a panel discussion, and then people could join in, and then we could have that space. Inshallah, we'll have that.
They could send me their questions in one, like you can send them in a pack, kind of 1, 2, 3, a list of them, and I can respond to you, Abdullah.
Yes.
Over WhatsApp. I'll do it over WhatsApp later.
So if anyone has any questions, you can just put it in the chat box, and we will make a compilation of it, and we'll send it to ma'am. And hopefully, when I have the answers, I can forward it to the person who asks them. So thank you. We are coming to the end of the whole session in totality, not just the festival. And the valedictory session and this address marks that. The end session report that I have deals with what we have done throughout the journey. So first, I'll just speak on the technicalities of things, so you may understand what all we had envisioned, promised, said, and were able to perform. And I will also go ahead and not only just count the successes, I will also count the failures. So you may build upon it and make it more grandeur than it is at the moment.
So
Yes,
Abdullah, am I allowed to leave now with your permission?
Yes, ma'am. As you may, it's going to end
Because if
in
you're
5
going to
minutes.
talk about technicalities, I might as well go and have my breakfast. Is it okay?
Absolutely up to you, ma'am, because it's going to end in less than 5 minutes. So as you may.
Less than 5 minutes. Okay, I'll stay on.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. We began the session with a society that was seemingly dysfunctional to begin with. The society had an existence, 100-year-old existence, but had a structure which kept changing with positions and with the events that it had. But because of my own experience that I've that I had in AMU in the past 7 years, because I've done my +2 from here, going on to bachelor's, and then having completed my master's right about now, I had been involved in events from the beginning of things. And one of the first events that we initiated, even at the school level, back in +2, was by the name of Zenith. And the event was significant because it was the first event in the 50 years of that school to have a collaboration of the 9 schools of AMU. That was the first time it happened, and it could not continue on. But the significance was that we were able to make it happen, and from there on, the journey of just organizing events for me began. Now, when we were able to when I was able to come to this, being in the position where I will say that at some part it is accidental and incidental also, that you've given a position because to an extent there are so many people who might be worthy of it in many instances, or might be just wanting it. Me and Utkarsh are always of the we're always of the thought that we're never after it. It was always in a way more given than wanting. And I would like to take this moment and thank Akbar sir. Akbar Joseph sir has been a driving force, not just in masters, but from bachelor's till masters. On a personal and professional level, he has stood by us like a pillar that knows that has the most significant strength. He saw our vision, and his position of being a coordinator was the reason that we were able to do a lot, and we were able to create what all we did. The liberty, not only just giving us liberty, but with that liberty standing by us, was the reason that whatever we initiated, he would never refuse. Rather, he would encourage, and he would tell us how to go about it. So I think to say anything about him would go on to be half an hour on our upon just the stature of the man he is and what he has done for us and for the whole society, and specifically for me and Utkarsh. The connection we have had with him shows us that that a connection with the professor can transcend just a normal connection between a professor and a student. So I must thank him. Though he is not here, I hope he will get to know this and he will be proud of us. Moving on from that, the session began with, as I said, a dysfunctional society, and we wanted people to engage and make it more inclusive rather than exclusive. And as you all have been told multiple times, one of the major problems that we faced with society was that it did not even have members from the bachelor's level, because most of them, they would not know how to enter into the society. That was the first problem we want to solve. And we had a simple idea of having an online form to fill up and to be spread among all the students. And that is where the initiation began, where we created a very simple Raleigh Literary Society membership form, and we spread it across, and from there we had people coming in. From there, I think the potential started to come in, because we had interest from across departments and students from across departments that wanted to join in. There we saw the potential span out to it being more than just interdepartmental, something that was all understood by everyone throughout the years that we had known the society to work, but we saw its potential more than that. So in a meeting, a general body meeting in January, me and Utkarsh, we decided and we put out a blueprint in front of the society that we wanted to fulfill and achieve. The blueprint included first creating a platform that many had attempted to do but never could achieve success at. A platform to publish prose pieces, articles, and poetries. This was done because in our time of bachelors, we wanted to publish a lot of things, but we did not have a space in the complete university where we could have done that. We wanted a digital space where it could become a publishing platform. Now, this was a very daunting task, because this involved not only creative people to come in, that was from the society, but also technical people that would involve collaboration from engineering. We began with that idea, and we promised everyone that we would have a website by the end of our session. The second idea that we had was creating a YouTube channel, which would cater to the needs of students first by embarking on the quest of breaking stereotypes. Now, how would that be? Breaking stereotypes in the sense of having people from different parts of India recite English poetries, bringing shame upon the empire that judges us. You see, a lot of times there is a lot of stigma around how a poetry should be performed, and there are many rules as to what accent should be there and what intonation should be there. And I wanted to break all of that. We talk about breaking rules a lot of times in the literature department, but rarely does it come from paper to practicality. We wanted it to become practical. And so we went ahead and created a YouTube channel, a reservoir of more than 45 recitations of English poetries by the many students of our own department. And this was done by students from across, that have origins from across India. So that was one accomplishment and one more promise that we had made. Another was in terms of presence. The society needed to be present not only in the campus, but also be recognized as a society that works at an exceptional level across India. And that meant digital visibility. So we went ahead and created an Insta page that we already had, but had around 200 followers to begin with. By the end of the session, we had promised that we would have more than 1,200 followers, organic students followers, who would be across India. And we have almost reached that goal as well. With all of these ideas and with all of these initiatives, this had to come to the culmination of it had to come through a festival. The festival is embodiment of all that we had done. It was the fulfillment of the promises and giving people the stage from where all that they had done be given justice to. The festival took a lot out of us. We had exams ongoing, our end semester exams ongoing. The juniors were involved in multiple things, and yet we took it on. The creation of a festival was something that we wanted to be unparalleled. because the festival would generally cater to only panelists. But we wanted the society to show that a festival could cater to academic needs as well. And that is why we have a unique structure that I can proudly say no university or festival in India stands to say to have a similar one. The first day of the festival had a national interdisciplinary conference, where I can tell you that I did not expect the participation, the overwhelming participation that we actually got. And we had 4 competitions that were intra-university. And the second day of the festival catered to panel discussions by various renowned academicians and novelists, and even film writers and filmmakers. We had people like HarperCollins published writer Gautam Bhatia, science fiction writer. We had a science fiction panel which are the most revered science fiction writers such as Mr. Samit Basu and Mr. Sami Ahmed Khan. We had a panel of graphic narrators by one of the most pioneering graphic artists and professors of India, Professor Vishwajyoti Ghosh, and one of the leading person in the realm of interactive fiction, Ms. Afra Shafiq. We also had for the film panel renowned filmmaker and film writer Baran Farooqi, who was responsible for writing movies like Dear Ishqiya and The Notebook. We had panelists who agreed to be part of this very first rendition of the festival. And I think that in itself speaks for the value and the idea that the society and festival harbors. The final day, which is today, was the valedictory and the felicitation. The felicitation was held in the offline mode just a few hours ago. It was to dedicate everyone who has put more than I could have ever dreamed or imagined you all would put. You have gone ahead to the point where I think thanking you would be an injustice. Rather, I think I will go on to see and observe what all you will be able to do with the society now and ahead. This was just the technicality, giving a website. And if you may, Sharmeen, please share the link of the website also in the chat box. And Utkarsh, if you would like, you can also, for the people present here, maybe just show the homepage of the website as well, as I continue to speak on. This is the most successful platform that AMU has never seen. Not only have we made the website, we've also made it sustainable in terms of having it run seamlessly for years to come on. The YouTube channel can now go on to create reservoirs of podcasts and discussions with the scholars and professors, or even among students, I would say. Giving all of this platform and giving it a staple event has now made the dysfunctional society more than functional. And I must congratulate each and everyone here present for that. I'll take now the moment as this part of vote of thanks. I'll begin first as I've already mentioned Akbar sir and I've thanked him enough. The second person that needs mentioning here is Utkarsh. Utkarsh has been obviously a friend of mine since bachelor's, but to be in a professional space and working together, it was rarely that I ever saw him as a joint secretary. Rather, it was 2 people that served for the society, and a lot of times he mentioned the aspect of sacrifice. In the sacrificial aspect, there is a lot of anxiety driven, and a lot of times you need someone that who will hold on to you. Utkarsh has been that person for me. Not only has he stood by me, he has also, wherever necessary, gone ahead and even saved me. So in this aspect, what he has done for the society is a very different thing. But for me, he has been a savior at multiple times. So thank you for that. Secondly, I will want to thank 4 people here, 5 people actually, without whom I think if they did not exist, it would be me being non-existent and the society's work till now being non-existent. These people include Sharmeen, Sidra Noor, Tuhail Ahmed, and Mohammad Bilal, and Mohsina Khan. These people have been the backbone because of which the whole society has been able to create, curate, and give you all the platform that exists at the moment. I will once again take this moment and mention Sidra in light of the design, because of which I think nothing could have existed. The website that you see in front of you has been completely designed by her. The content that you see on Instagram or the website, or content in terms of the concept note that goes for the conference, or any form of content that goes to any guests, panelists, moderators, etc., is done by Sharmeen. And I cannot go, I think I would fail to actually express my gratitude towards them. I only wish that they will be able to continue this. Bilal has been significant in terms of handling everything on ground. He had been responsible for handling the most of the subcommittees that all fell under him because of him being an event head, and he was able to perform everything. The biggest question when it comes to having a vision and wanting to fulfill things is a core team that will not say no, that they will say yes, and that they will get things done. And they have been embodiment of all of that. I must thank them. I must thank them beyond all the thanks that can be given. I know that they will be going ahead and doing more than wonderful things for the society and in their life in general. So thank you. There are some other people that I would like to also mention in this vote of thanks. There have been people who have become the embodiment of the fact of the society catering to the needs of people who felt that they could not do, that felt that they were insecure. These people include people like Faisal Sajjad, Neha Singh, Anjuman, among others, even like Nosheen, Ufukhaya. These people were very unsure with ideas that would come, that they would initially bring onto the table. But later, Utkarsh, you can now not present it. It's all right. These people initially would want to do a lot of things, but had hesitation. But because they were not only given opportunities, they would be gone. We would go ahead and tell them how to improve upon all of this. That again, I will reiterate the motto that we had in the YouTube channels, videos that we made. That is this your first time? And if you would say yes, I would say yes, it is my first time, but first among many times. And I hope those many times have been able to be there for at least a few of you for videos and things made later on in regards to even the fest. So thank you for making me see that, one can create impact in the hearts and minds of people. And that is the biggest thing that I'll be taking away from here, apart from all technical things that we have given the society. I want to also take the moment and thank Asim sir, because especially in regards to the fest that we had, he stood by us. He was on call with me to solve any kind of crisis that would fall upon me. Even getting Baran ma'am here wasn't something that was done by him. A couple of crisis management things that we needed to get done in the 2 days of the event was also done by him, among obviously the many things that he supports us with. He is the person who has understood most the vision of the society, and I hope that you all that exist now in the session to come will be able to collaborate and make most out of what we have given. I think it's difficult to just compress everything and thank all of you and just bring it all to an end.
I hope, Abdullah bhai, everyone is getting your emotions right. I think you have said enough. And this is enough for them to understand like how much secretary and the joint secretary love you and are grateful to you. the constant support and the love that you have shown throughout the journey.
More than incredible. I think I can stand. I have worked with a lot of teams, and I will not exaggerate. This is the best that I could have.
Definitely.
Best I could have had. You've made. I want to end on this note that I began with the idea of having this event called Zenith. Zenith means to be at the epitome of something. We had that name purposefully because at that time we were at rock bottom, and we wanted to reach the zenith. I think right now I can say that we are at that position, to say that we are at the zenith of things. I thought one day I will be personally at the zenith of something. But now that I am, I see so many of you with me here. And there is not enough thanks that I can give. For me, you are on the spotlight in Kennedy, being given mementos, being given certificates, your names being said, and cheers being from the audience. I'm very sure that you will push through and make everything, and make this revival go on. I think it's difficult to go on from here. So for me, I mean, to continue to speak now. Thank you so much.